The story of Jesus, the son of Mary, or Isa ibn Maryam, peace be upon him. In 1947, a Bedouin found old Essene scrolls in caves near the Dead Sea, which he almost burned for fire. But why are these disciples of John the Baptist unknown in the Bible, and who was their awaited Messiah? Long ago in Nazareth lived a pious rabbi called Imran, who grew old without a son or heir. Coming from Aaron's priestly line, his offerings were belittled, so he called on Allah in prayer. Imran's old wife Hannah also longed for offspring after she saw baby chicks being fed in a nest. She vowed that if she bore a child, she would let it serve in Jerusalem's holy temple as a guest. Allah answered their prayers, but sadly, Chief Imran died before his daughter Maryam was born. As Hannah had promised, after weaning Maryam, she left her at the temple when the day dawned. It was unknown for a girl to serve the temple, but Maryam was a perfect girl full of grace. They cast a pen lottery, and Zacharia won it, to raise her as a guardian in her father's place. Prophet Zacharia was married to Maryam's aunt Elizabeth, or Ilyasbeth, and taught her for a pious reason. Being a carpenter, he built her a hidden prayer room, where Allah nourished her with fruits out of season. Even though he was nearly 80, Zacharia prayed for an heir, until an angelic vision left him stunned. Angel Gabriel or Jibrail appeared, and told him that his barren wife Ilyasbeth would give birth to his son. He was told that his son would be a prophet called John, or Yahya, meaning one quickened to life. As a sign, he would lose voice for 3 days and communicate by signals when pregnancy blessed his wife. Maryam was now in puberty and constantly worshipped Allah after her work was done, but one day she was frightened by Angel Jibrail, who came to announce news of her son. Seeking refuge in Allah from the stranger, she was given strength by Allah to stay calm. She queried the miracle pregnancy, but accepted Allah's word and would come to no harm. Worriedly, she went to visit her aunt Ilyasbeth, whose baby bowed towards Maryam's womb. Being his cousin, Yahya would herald Isa as Israel's chosen Messiah and make room. Yahya was born with great jubilation and grew up in the desert, simple and altruistic. Believers with him awaited Isa and were known as the Essene or Isai in the Qumran district. On the outskirts of Bethlehem, Maryam sat against a withered tree with labor-pain sobs. All alone, she gave birth to Isa, a child untouched by Satan but dreaded facing the mobs. Allah eased Maryam's worries by causing a freshwater spring to flow and ripe dates to fall. Astonishingly, her baby spoke to her, telling her to fast in silence and not to speak to anyone at all. When the townsfolk saw her, they cried, "O sister of Aaron, how could you do such a sin?" But Maryam silently pointed to her baby, and he defended her as a truly astounding thing. Baby Isa said he was Allah's worshipper slave, a prophet sent with a book, all blessed. He would pray, give charity, and be kind to his pious mother, so to follow him was best. An angry mob accosted Zacharia at the temple and accused him of siring Isa and being unclean. They martyred him by sawing him in a tree by the altar, but Yahya was safe with the Essene. Maryam had to escape to Egypt and fled with guardians from the family of Zacharia. Isa would grow up there in safety up until travel back to Palestine became freer. Isa grew up as a shepherd in the Arabian wilderness, a pure and wise youth. Allah gave him the Injil, a holy book to call the children of Israel to truth. When 12-year-old Isa returned, he explained the Torah insightfully, and the rabbis initially took him for a sage, but they cast him out, accusing him of being Maryam's illegitimate son, and he moved to Galilee until he came of age. At 30, Isa performed miracles by Allah's permission, like loaves and fish to thousands he fed. He cured the blind, lepers, and the possessed, and gave life to clay birds and raised the dead. Isa angered the Zealots, Pharisees, and Sadducees by exposing them all as fake and greedy. He told them to worship Allah properly, not to pervert God's laws, and to feed the needy. For feeding the poor and curing the sick on the Sabbath, Isa was accused of breaking Mosaic law. The rabbis said he used magic and for power plotted to kill him, making the Romans angry with uproar. Prophet Yahya was beheaded for speaking the truth in front of the incestuous Herod Antipas. Yahya's disciples, or Hawariyun, would now serve a new teacher of righteousness and aided Isa's task. The helpers asked for a miracle, and a ma'idah table descended with food from the sky. They ate from it, but Allah said an unheard of punishment would befall those who would deny. Isa taught his disciples the Injil in Aramaic, and they witnessed real miracles and not illusions. But when he revealed his ascension and a prophet to come after him, Judas became disillusioned. When Isa told them he was sent to confirm the Torah and guide the Jews, not destroy Rome by coups, and that an Arab prophet called Ahmed would reveal God's final message, impatient Jews blew a fuse. The priests denied Isa as a fake Messiah and vied for his blood, but couldn't identify him from the poor. So for 30 pieces of silver, Judas Iscariot said he'd betray him and switched sides to aid the zealot war. Isa was made aware of their plot by Allah and prayed to him to remove this calamity. Allah comforted Isa and told him of his plan that a disciple would take on his identity. At the Last Supper, Isa asked his disciples to volunteer to be crucified with Isa's transformed face. For the honor of joining Isa in heaven, the youngest one willingly agreed to take Isa's place. Judas brought the Romans to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Isa used to pray. Isa hugged his tearful mother and left her in the care of Isai helpers that day. With lanterns they searched for Isa, but the substitute stepped out and said, "I am he." Isa's body was put in a sleep-like stasis, and 2 angels lifted him to the second heaven stealthily. They took away the silent substitute disciple and humiliated him in trial after trial. He remained extremely patient. Even Pilate washed his hands of him, feeling riled. The remaining disciples did their best to spread the Injil, but their end came soon. As for Judas, he committed suicide by hanging and was found with his guts all spewed. The authorities passed the death sentence to quell rebellion, and the rabbis appeased. They put a crown of thorns on the substitute's head and lashed him to his knees. Nailed to a cross, the dignified substitute breathed his last, and even Maryam cried. The chiefs boasted that they had crucified Isa, but instead the brave look-alike died. The Isai were hunted down mercilessly, and the true message of Isa was suppressed. Nestorians and Jacobites pushed a warped Pauline creed until the Quran gave redress. It angers Allah that people call Isa the son of God, or worship him in a trinity. Isa and Maryam were human. Allah raised Isa up, and he will return aged 33. On the last day, Allah will ask Jesus, "Did you tell the people to take you and your mother as gods besides me?" Jesus will deny such polytheism or shirk, so any who worship him as a deity are liable for hell for eternity. When the world reeks of oppression, Allah will restore a pious caliphate, and Imam Mahdi he will send. The Mahdi will restore justice, and like Yahya, prepare the way for Jesus, who will take over in the end. For in the not-too-distant future, Isa will return with 2 angels in Damascus with might to destroy evil ad-Dajjal, the Antichrist, who will dissolve by Lord's gate without a fight. Isa will beseech Allah to rid the world of the hordes of Gog and Magog's rot. He will also tell those with him of their ranks in paradise, right there on the spot. The whole world will accept Isa as a Messiah and just leader, and do exactly as he says. Life will be blessed under him, and livestock yields and fruits will be huge in those days. He will abolish jizya tax, destroy all pigs and crosses, and the polytheism or shirk that they carried. He will rule for 40 years with the Quran and Sunnah, perform pilgrimage to Mecca, and get married. Fascinatingly, Christians have paid for Umayyad Mosque's white minaret, where Isa will descend, and he'll be buried next to Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, grave in Medina when he dies and meets his end.